Welcome to Mind of the Forest, a podcast of the Louisiana Forestry Association. Hi, I'm your host, Jeff Zeringue. In Mind of the Forest, we talk about forestry, the importance of managed forest to the environment, and the benefits they offer to wildlife and water protection. Those benefits are why the LFA promotes keeping Louisiana's almost 15 million acres of forests as forests. The forest products industry, which includes forest landowners, loggers, and wood manufacturers such as lumber, paper, and pellet mills, plays an important role in the conservation and management of forests for the important renewable natural resource it is. This episode of Mind of the Forest is sponsored by First South Farm Credit. First South is your premier rural lender. With over 100 years financing timber and agriculture, they have the expertise you're looking for when financing rural property. If you're looking to purchase or refinance land, call your local First South Farm Credit office, or you can find them online at firstsouthland.com. This is episode 69 of Mind of the Forest, and we're talking to LFA Executive Director Buck Vandersteen. We're talking to him about the recently concluded regular session of the Louisiana Legislature. It wasn't too busy of a session for forestry, but there were some very important and crucial issues that we need to talk about. Here's Buck. We have with us Buck Vandersteen, the Executive Director of the Louisiana Forestry Association. Buck always joins us twice a year, once before the session of the Louisiana Legislature, and once after the session of the Louisiana Legislature, which obviously that's why we're here in June. Buck, welcome. Glad to have you.
Well, thank you, and good day to everybody. The legislature, 2026 legislature, did wrap up hour and a half before sine die at 6 p.m., which is very unusual. Normally, they go right up to the 11th hour and 59 seconds, but got it all done and moved on. And now we see what the governor approves, what he can put his veto pen to, and we hope that it won't be a veto of anything that we see that is beneficial.
Yeah, this is kind of the in-between period, right? Yep. Yeah. So the legislature has done its job. The governor now has to look at everything and decide what to sign and what not to sign. And he has also the power of line item veto, which he could kind of strike through here and there as his choice. So what was the number one topic as it concerns to forestry?
Well, we spent a lot of time this year in the Natural Resources Committee. Generally, we're over in the Agriculture, Forestry, and Natural Resources Committee. But this year, we spent a lot of more time with the Committee on the Environment. And one of the things that it did pass, we can talk about some of the things that did pass. There was over 2,000 pieces of legislation. Not all were approved. A lot of them were heard and cast aside. But this particular one that did pass was from Mr. Guyman. It was a piece of legislation that created the Louisiana Energy Protection Tax or Act. Louisiana Energy Protection Act, which basically says that there's going to be a limit of liability over greenhouse gas, climate change issues. And this is pertinent to an individual, a farmer, a forester, a logger, anybody that is generating greenhouse gases for those that want to sue them for climate change. Basically, this legislation says that we're not going to fool around with climate change, greenhouse gases. We're going to limit your liability to the federal permitting process. So it doesn't. It really, the way we look at it, it removes frivolous lawsuits against people that are trying to do the right thing to do. So interesting piece of legislation. It had a lot of discussion. People said, well, this is going to allow people to pollute, to avoid federal permitting. Not true at all. Federal permits gives you the guide rails to operate. This just removes the frivolous lawsuits that someone says, well, because you're producing something and you're generating greenhouse gases and you're contributing to climate change, and therefore you are subject to penalty. So does away with that.
That's just fascinating to me. We have to have a law that says that. I mean, it seems commonsensical that an individual producer of something can't be liable for the entire change in the climate of a living organism like the Earth. Okay.
Well, you mentioned reasonable and
commonsensical.
So, but that's one thing that did move forward. Another thing that did pass was a piece of legislation that Mr. Owen introduced that put a moratorium basically on parishes adding new weight restrictions to industry, heavy trucking, oversized vehicles. That could affect loggers, could affect concrete workers, could affect anyone. But put a moratorium on that so that those issues, those relations with local governments can develop. And then Mr. Shammerhorn, with a House resolution, created a task force to sit with local governments to say what we can do to keep operating in the parishes without undue permits, fines, bonding, all of that on roads, which is a good step in the right direction to sit at the table and to move forward. This is interesting too, because earlier in the year, Catahoula Parish realized that their bonding issue, their road issues were turning loggers away from the parish, affecting landowners' ability to sell their wood, for loggers to operate in the parish. And Catahoula Parish, to their credit, said, we're going to stop having to pay for a permit. We're going to stop having to have the logger get a road bond, but we're going to require the logger or the heavy hauler to call into the parish and get a permit. It's a no-fee permit. Notify us where you are, what you're operating. If you don't do that, that fine can be rather expensive, can be up to $5,000 for an habitual offender. But the important thing there is we want to be responsible. If we're operating in Catahoula Parish, we want to let them know so that if there's any road issues, they can be worked out ahead of time or during operations. But they're not hanging a permit over your head. They're not putting a bond issue over your head, but they are saying, you better let us know that you're in the parish, or that fee will get up there, and we don't want that to happen. But
it is a good thing. Catahoula. It is something that's important. So they know if something does happen and there was a logging operation on a particular road during this particular time or date, then they can at least investigate if there's anything wrong with that. But, our loggers are responsible and they make sure that they do things right. So it's a good thing, I think, especially not tying the money to it. And if anything does happen, I'm sure there are repercussions for any bad player, which is unfortunate. In every industry you have them.
And this study committee that was authorized by Mr. Shammerhorn brings people to the table, local governments, brings the logging industry to the table, brings the Department of Transportation and Development to the table to see what can be worked out. So hopefully that this is something that will be a good example of working together, promoting commerce, protecting the roads, and helping improve the forest industry. in the state. So,
but it's not just for the forest industry, though, because
Exactly.
there are many other heavy haulers on all the
Absolutely.
roads in Louisiana today.
but we are most concerned with forest
Yes.
industry, the logging industry, and
Well, we don't want to be singled out or penalized because of it's just one industry. It would be unfair to pick on forestry and not any other heavy hauler.
Absolutely. All right, and then most of the discussion in this Energy and Environment Committee, of course, dealt with carbon dioxide, carbon capture and storage, and numerous bills, 15 to 20 bills, which would allow a local option on whether or not carbon dioxide comes into a particular parish. They all failed. Now, to the people out there that are very concerned about this does not say that in the process of whether or not these companies come in, that their voices will be heard. People will have opportunities to comment on projects coming into the parish. So the fact that the local option failed is just a way of saying, okay, that's going to create a bottleneck. It's going to create additional work, but we still want the public comment about the project, information about the project, and that is in law. Those meetings have to be held. People have to be able to come to those meetings. Now, people will have to take it upon themselves to find out about the meetings, look at their newspapers, read the mail when notices are sent out about these meetings. But because they failed, and I really want to emphasize that, it did not say that these industries do not want public comment. That's not the case.
Yeah, there are vehicles in place already for those comments to come to light and in the public square.
Yep.
That they have the opportunity to say. That kind of sounds normal, if you will, because when you look at trade, one parish says no, one parish says yes. For whatever reasons they do. Then that can tie up or even cancel, billions of dollars in projects and help especially the rural economy in Louisiana. It's kind of like interstate trade, I guess, between states. The regulating body should be the state rather than the local government. I know there's a lot of stress in between local and state government in some areas, but that seems to make a little bit more sense. And
the investors in these projects, they're on track to make investments in industry that are making product, using renewable resources, contributing to reduction of greenhouse gases, and they want to move their projects forward. When there are situations that create uncertainty with local options, on again, off again kind of scenarios, they say we're going to find another place to invest our money. Yeah, and that's what we don't want to happen. We want Louisiana to embrace these projects, make sure that they're safe, get all the information that we can on these projects, to also help our industry grow, help improve our sustainable forestry, help our logging community, and really put Louisiana forestry on a stronger footing than we are today.
To assure that the forest will be healthy as well, because there's certain practices that have to be done that takes resources to do, and landowners can get those resources by having a robust industry.
Absolutely.
But it also doesn't guarantee that this is a particular project, rather, is going to go through. I mean, it's a long process to do it. There's no guarantee that it will happen.
Exactly. That is true. They go through a permitting process. It's a very lengthy permitting process, volumes of paperwork, for a decision to approve a project moving forward. Opportunities for the public to comment, to provide information that the evaluators of these projects, and these are state employees, because Louisiana has been given the authority by the federal government to look at these projects, to make sure that they protect the groundwater, make sure that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing under federal guidelines. Then the state collects that information, makes that decision, informs the public what's going on, and looks for public input if they've not evaluated everything that is there on a project. So it's good, it's helpful, it helps move things along, and it takes away a lot of the uncertainty of projects by not
For investors,
putting a local option
right. Okay.
on there. So that's another good thing that happened. Really, you spend 85 days listening and watching all of this, but there were not many issues that directly affected forestry. Chairman McFarland and the Appropriations Committee realized that our firefighters and our Office of Forestry really needed some help with compensation for the hazardous work that they're doing. And last I saw in that big budget bill of over 200 pages, that there was some extra money in there for our firefighters, and to help appreciate and to show that we value their service and the risk that they put themselves in when they're fighting a wildfire.
Yeah, 2023 was a rough year for them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Thankfully, we don't have a year like that every year, but to know that they are prepared, that they've trained well, and they're compensated well is in addition to that, is a little more comforting, I would think, for landowners, because it's not just the forest landowners that they help out. I mean, there are regular residents that were really on the line in 2023, and that the firefighters really saved a great deal of private property.
Yep, absolutely. Structures and lives in the general public, very, very true. Another thing, while we're talking about the Office of Forestry, our state forester, Wade Dubé, has announced his retirement. He has decided, after almost 25 years with the department, that it was time to go do something else. He was our state forester, I think, for nearly 20 years.
Wow.
And he has moved on. And Epney Brasher has been appointed by the Forestry Commission as the interim state forester. The Forestry Commission will conduct a search for a new state forester, and that process has begun right now, and we will see what happens, and hopefully that's soon, so that we get prepared. We're moving into the summer months. We're moving into
the fire season for sure.
The possibility of some weather patterns that could create some more drying conditions in the summer. We need to be prepared. We need to be ready to fight any wildfires if that happens, and to monitor our health of our forest. We're growing so much more wood than what we're taking out of the forest right now. We run the risk, and I even hesitate to talk about insects and that could get into our forest if our trees are weakened by competing for resources that they're not able to remain healthy. Yeah. We don't need any problems with the health of our resource. We need that resource to continue growing. And if these projects, these bioenergy projects come along, they will take a year or two to get fully operational. but this will be a tremendous help to move that forward. And we never want to forget our traditional industries too, our pulp and paper industries, our sawmills, and all of that are so vital to the current quality of our forests and our industry. Even in our sawmills today, we are experiencing problems of getting rid of the residuals. The residuals are the sawdust, the shavings from the lumbering process, and there are mounds of residuals that are accumulating. And when you have that accumulation, the heat that's generated in those piles, all we need there is for something to spark something there. So, industry, another facility to use that is a solution for many problems. So, we want to move forward. We want to keep Louisiana growing on a trajectory of good quality growth, sustainable forestry, healthy logging industry, and men and women that can live in our rural communities, earn a decent living in the forest products industry.
Sounds good. So overall, a good report for the forest industry for legislature for the legislative session. Good
session. Moving forward, we didn't go into the teacher issue, the redistricting issue.
Yeah.
People can read about that in the news and probably know far more about that than we follow. But there's a lot of things that go on in the legislature, in the legislative session. We applaud all of the men and women there that work in the legislature. The staff are just tremendous, helpful and very, very knowledgeable folks. We had a good year in recognizing John Keith as the outstanding logger, the Ward properties for their being the outstanding tree farmer. Good times at the legislature. Good things happened.
Yeah,
and it was a fun.
Don't forget Cold-Blooded too. He was able to be recognized as well.
Cold-Blooded Lee, the outstanding log truck driver from Union, up in Union Parish, and thrill of his life. He and his wife Evelyn, I believe, just were super people, and so appreciative of the fact that a log truck driver gets recognized by the Louisiana Legislature.
Well, I tell you, having a nickname like that, to meet the man, I don't know how he got that nickname. He is one of the most pleasant and jovial people I've ever met. He's a great guy. Congratulations to him again.
You can just imagine how the legislators, when they heard this name, they started to really pick up on that.
Oh yeah,
and have a good time with the name. Again, we thank our legislature. Understands agriculture, understands natural resources, understands energy. We have a good, solid foundation. Yes, we have challenges that we keep working on. The most important thing is staying involved, staying aware of issues, participating in our local government issues, making sure that our voices are heard, and joining together with the Forestry Association or other organizations to just continue to move forestry forward. If there's that old saying, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
Yeah.
And being on the menu is not an enviable position. You want to be at the table.
Next year is an election year, and as you mentioned, Mr. McFarland, he has reached his term limit. So after this term, he will no longer be in the House of Representatives. So forestry industry kind of loses a voice there, I think. As a logger,
absolutely,
he's able to really address the issues from a practical and experiential standpoint. So how does that look for the future for legislative sessions? He's been in there for 12. Well, it's going to be 12 years when he finishes his term.
There is a brotherhood in the legislature. No doubt about it. Men and women are all part of the legislative process. And really, if there's a forestry issue and I approach a member of the legislature on an issue, invariably the first comment is, well, what does Jack McFarland think about this? And Jack has got such a reputation with other members of the legislature, high integrity, just a really good leader in the legislature. He will be missed. There may be opportunities for him in other parts of government after this term as a state representative. We'll have to see how all that plays out. But that's something that we will be thinking. Our Political Action Council will be looking at potential candidates and trying to support those that we think will help us. We don't have a lot of resources like many other organizations, labor or education or
oil and gas. Like that,
So we have to be very strategic and really look for the right candidates or candidates that will help move forward. Forestry issues, don't dominate any legislative session.
Right.
We're mostly there to help people understand the ramifications of their policy. Oftentimes we can stop things before they even go too far. And we had an example. We had one piece of legislation that would require a cover over every truck that is carrying a forest product. Well, you can imagine a log truck with logs on it or longwood. How would you cover logs on a truck? Almost an impossibility. His intention was we want to keep debris and that off the road. So do we. We want to keep that. But there's no physical way of covering a load of logs.
Way. It would add a lot of issues to that. And we talked about the education and other issues. We do subscribe to the LSU Manship's news service, which is the journalism students at LSU Manship School of Journalism. They do provide us stories, and for the big stories like that, for education, how it's going to affect somebody's pocketbook, we do put that on our website at laforestry.com. If you do not receive this man's legislative update, how often do you get those? At least weekly, sometimes more than
we try and do it weekly,
and
we may miss a week if the legislature is focused on something else and nothing is moving, but we try and keep current on issues when they are brought up that affect forestry.
If you do not receive the legislative update, send us an email to lfa@laforestry.com and ask to add your email to the list, and you can get those notices as often as Mr. Vandersteen sends them out. So what have we not covered? Anything?
We're good. Ask that people put on their calendars our August annual meeting. We will have a good discussion on what's happening in our forest economy. We'll hear from insurance issues. We'll be talking about the new Forest Products Innovation Center up at in Ruston. We'll also hear from our Department of Economic Development, the focus and the attention that they're placing on helping the forest industry grow in Louisiana. So really a variety of topics and something for everybody. Most importantly is the friendship and the fellowship that is renewed during these conferences. It's a fun event. It's a fast-paced event.
Yes, it is.
A good way to renew your enthusiasm and support for the forest industry.
If you have an interest in that, it is August 18th through the 20th. It's going to be held at the Golden Nugget Hotel and Casino Resort in Lake Charles. We have information on our website, laforestry.com. You can go check that out. You can even register online if you like, and all that information is going to be there. If you have any questions, please drop us a line, lfa@laforestry.com. Buck Vandersteen, thank you so much. Did want to forget, congratulations to Wade Dubé, who is retiring. So whatever he's going to do in his next venture, I hope it's a fun one for him. Congratulations to Epney in the interim, and that process will be started hopefully by July,
right, yeah,
August.
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll know by July, August.
Yep. So look for that announcement. We'll have that as soon as it's made by the state. Buck, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Be safe.
Thank you for listening to Mind of the Forest. This episode was sponsored by First South Farm Credit. First South is your premier rural lender. With over 100 years financing timber and agriculture, they have the expertise you're looking for when financing rural property. If you're looking to purchase or refinance land, call your local First South Farm Credit office or find them online at firstsouthland.com. If you'd like to learn more about sustainable forestry, the SFI, the LFA and its programs, and how you can be part of an organization that supports landowners, loggers, and forest products industry in Louisiana, check out our website at laforestry.com. Would you like to be a sponsor of Mind of the Forest? We have 14 shows every year, and we invite you to ask how you can support sustainable forestry by being a Mind of the Forest sponsor. Send me an email at jzeringue@laforestry.com. That's jzeringue@laforestry.com. Our next episode will feature John Keith, the 2025 Outstanding Louisiana Logger, and his wife, Vanessa. That show will drop on the 15th of the month. We're always looking for new topics that might be of interest to you, our audience. If you have a topic suggestion, please send it to me at the email address mentioned, jzeringue@laforestry.com. Our contact information, as well as the contact information of our guests, which in this case is the same thing, can be found in our show notes, so you can check those out. And you can subscribe to Mind of the Forest by clicking on the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Be sure to tap the notification button as well so you'll know when a new episode drops every month. Thank you. We do appreciate you doing that. And remember, at the Louisiana Forestry Association, we're Mind of the Forest for you.